Hi, my name is Amanda. I have been a madam, a mistress, and an adult baby mummy for the last 21 years. This is my first podcast, and I have no doubt that as with all things that I do, at some point it will invite controversy. I intend to cover everything and anything, from everyday life to fetish. If you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to contact me via Twitter or email or telephone, and you will find all my details on my Twitter, which is at Madam Amanda. Okay, so my very first question is from, if you just hold on, Nany Lee is looking. Oh, I did forget to say that today Nany Lee is with me. Nanny Elizabeth isn't. I'd like to say she was doing something fabulous, fetishy and kinky, but she's actually gone to the post office to pick up another handbag for Nany Lee. I mean, I know I have a handbag and shoe fetish, but dear God, Nany Lee is just as bad. Now, my first question, as I was saying, is from... What's my first question, Nany Lee?
It's from Tammy on Twitter, and it says, public humiliation and how to handle it.
Okay. Well, I have dealt with all forms of public humiliation over the years, from taking an adult baby into the supermarket cafe and feeding them, to actually taking a toilet slave out. And well, we won't cover that on this because this is going to go onto YouTube. If you want to listen to the more explicit side of what I do on my podcasts, I'm afraid you'll have to join my Onlyfans, which again you can get on Twitter. So public humiliation is, well, it's not as difficult as it seems. I know a lot of people think it can be dangerous, but as long as the person that is responsible for you is sensible and puts your welfare above everything, then it can be handled really well, and you can get the best out of it and the most excitement out of it that you can possibly imagine. For instance, I have people who say to me, oh, I could never go into the supermarket and buy some nappies or sanitary pads or Tampaxes. Well, why not? You know, you find the prettiest girl on the checkout and you take your things to her, and your cock gets hard and you get excited and you know you're being naughty, but she doesn't. She could think it was for your mum, your girlfriend, your incontinent grandmother. She doesn't know who it's for. I delight in setting my sissies and babies little public humiliation tasks, whether they're with me or not. You know, go out and buy a pair of panties, a bra, go into the public toilet and get changed into a pair of knickers that you've just bought and paid for. We don't want any little sirens going off now, do we, by accident? There's so much you can do with public humiliation. Later in this podcast, I will cover some of the more extreme forms of public humiliation that I have, carried out and experienced. But for now, we're going to move on to the next question. Nany Lee, Who's the next question?
I'll just go and get it off Twitter.
Okay.
Somebody sub Hardy, how do you feel about putting a man's hair in rollers and putting him under the dryer and feminising him?
Oh my God, I love it.
Well, I have 2 salons, so we're quite passionate about that.
Yeah, that is a big thing of mine. Absolutely love it. Okay, in the UK, I have a sissy salon with 2 beauty stations, a nail station, and 2 fabulous overhead dryers. So putting sissies in rollers is wow, love it. In our French salon, which is even better than our UK one because it's a more individual building, we've again got 2 sissy beauty stations, 2 hairdryers. If you can hear a big dog barking, we do have a guard dog here, and he is barking right now. Well, he is.
He wants to participate in the podcast.
He does. So yeah, love it. And also, it just so happens that Auntie Penny, who is my best friend in the world, other than Nany Lee and Nanny Elizabeth, is actually a fully qualified hairdresser and beautician and trained and managed a Vidal Sassoon boutique and hairdressing salon. So yes, she also enjoys cutting hair, styling hair, and I often take my sissies to see her. Okay, and for our last question for our YouTube podcast, what is it, Nany Lee?
Oh, well, this is a nice one. I like this one. It's from Chloe on Twitter, and it's any tips on how to be more confident in yourself about trans?
Oh, yeah. Okay, then. Well,
I'm just going to pop up with this. This is very close to Mummy's heart because one of her best friends was trans years ago before it became more acceptable. So she's very well versed in what to do and how to deal with it and how to support people.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to tell you a little story. My one of my very, very best friends was a pre-op transsexual. Born a man, lived as a man for many, many years, and then just couldn't hide anymore and asked for my help, which I gave wholeheartedly. And before I tell you how to become more comfortable, I'm going to explain to you that, I really know the suffering and the anxiety that you go through. When my friend's mum passed away, she had already started transition, but her mum had Alzheimer's, so didn't know what was happening. And so she'd had eyeliner tattooed on and lip liner tattooed on and dressed as a girl most of the time. And on the day of her mother's funeral, she came out of the house in a suit and tie. And obviously people were staring because of the eyeliner and the tattooed makeup. And I said to her, wow, you are so brave. And she said, my mother gave birth to a son and deserves to be buried by a son. And so when people make snide, nasty, unpleasant comments, which thank God things have changed today and they don't do as much as they did when she was transitioning, it drives me nuts. Because nobody knows the inner turmoil that somebody goes through to make that decision. It's not something that you get up one day and you think, oh, I'm going to have brown toast instead of white today. Today I'll be a girl and not a man. So I do understand that. And I'm always here for anyone who has any fears or, questions, anything at all. I'm always here. But back to the question. Okay. You can be more comfortable because there's lots of things you can do in your manly, everyday life that can still make you feel feminine and yet won't cause a stir. Do little things like, if you can't afford to go to a nail bar, manicure your own nails, push back your cuticles, trim your cuticles, file your fingernails, buff them with a little bit of buffing oil and a buffer. You can wear ladies' deodorant instead of man's. Yeah, ladies' perfume. I mean, there's loads of androgynous aftershaves and perfumes out there now. You can wear, black pop socks underneath your trousers. They look, if they're 60 denier, they just look like normal socks. And then when you're dressed, look at yourself and try to see yourself as somebody else sees you. So always make sure that you smell nice, that your hands are nice, that your toenails are nice, that if you're not in a relationship, that you can shave under your arms, your legs, that type of thing.
If you can't shave your arms because you're not open about who you are, bleach the hair.
Yeah, bleach it.
It's lighter.
Yeah, of course it is. I
But
mean,
I think the confident, it's very difficult because even as women, you're not confident.
oh God, no.
You're never going to be 100%
No.
confident.
You know-
So difficult.
Yeah, it is. I mean, people will say, oh, you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, you're this. But I get up and all I see is a little fat woman. I don't see anything worth looking at. And that is the God's honest truth. I'm not just saying that. And I doubt whether any woman in the world doesn't have something they don't like about themselves. Yeah. So if you're cross-dressing, you're going to have disillusionment and disappointment in yourself. And you've just got to learn to like yourself.
Well, I will say this, though.
Yeah?
I've just had a little nosy on the Twitter account and the media.
Yeah.
And she's got a very nice bum.
Has she?
Really nice bum.
Oh, very nice. Oh, I love those fishnet stockings with the ribbon detail.
Very, very nice bottom.
Very, very nice. So you see, just...
be confident in that.
Yeah, love yourself. Love who you are. Because at the end of the day, like the saying goes, if you can't love you, who else is going to? So, go on.
It's RuPaul.
Is that RuPaul that says
you can't
that?
love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else? That's
Oh!
RuPaul. Says that at the end of every drag race.
Really?
Yeah, that's RuPaul.
There you go, you see. It's gone in my head subliminally. So, but I don't love myself. So, you see, I'm speaking rubbish. I'm
We
just...
do love RuPaul.
Yeah, we do love RuPaul. Okay, mind you, he's got phenomenal
Oh my
legs.
God, I know.
I know, and he really does look good when he's dressed. So, all of you sissies, babies, straight people who might just be interested in listening to the podcast, you know, come back. We'll have another podcast for you next week. If you want to listen to the rest of this podcast,
Which is a bit more
fetishy
18 plus.
18 plus. Unfortunately, it's only going to be available on our Onlyfans because we don't want to break any YouTube laws. So, thank you for listening.
Yeah, because we've got other questions that are a bit more raunchy on Twitter, so we'll go into them next.
Okay, so again, thank you for listening. I hope you come back and visit us here again. And Nany Lee, do you want to say bye-bye?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Love you all.